and loot, our quest begun in lands uncharted under the sun. With dice in hand, our fate will mold in the tapestry of tales, our stories told. Trials, diary, treasures untold. Together we stand brave and bold.
Good morning. Good morning.
You
It's
slept
great
the whole
to
night
see
through.
you here. Wait,
You slept the whole night through. Good morning to you.
And
I
you,
fucked
and
it
you.
up.
What were you gonna say?
I thought it was. Isn't it great to see you here? It's great to see you here.
It's great to stay up late in the morning with you.
I quit. I'm done.
I don't know that one.
Anything can be anything if you try hard enough.
I have no idea.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our third Pocket episode.
Hurrah!
It's the big one.
Andrew is still not here. He's evolving. He's currently in a cocoon somewhere.
He's
just
dug a
growing.
hole.
Andrew, if you hear this, I miss you. I just want you to know that.
You'll make a beautiful Butterfree when you digivolve into it.
Ooh.
Did you fall into it? Ugh.
Make sure he gets all the Dragon Balls first.
Oh yeah. You got to do that.
You know, I really liked the Digimon song.
And who didn't?
Digimon, digital monsters. Digimon are the champions.
Change into digital champions to save the digital
World.
All those, they were on point, 100%.
Whoever
Go, actually, quit listening to our right now.
Go watch fucking Digimon.
Go on YouTube and listen to like the Digimon theme song right now. Everyone.
Yeah.
We'll wait. We'll hold our breaths.
Okay, so you're back.
Yeah. Welcome
Was it
back.
good?
It was
Oh,
good.
wow.
You enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
But anyway, as I was, we're definitely going to switch pace here because we're going to, like, I think you guys could assume is the darkest character, right?
It's a deep dive into a deep, dark place.
I think we did it right. We did Paul's light uplifting.
Goofy.
Max's more serious.
It's like neutral, you know.
Yeah, now we're going to hell.
Yep, essentially.
My world.
Yeah.
Charlie's world is a bit of a hell, you'll find. If you didn't already catch that from all of everything that's been going on. Yeah. So it's gonna be a buckle up. This is a long
Oh, I'm
story.
fucking buckled. Harness and all.
This is a long story, and we're not even gonna be halfway through it.
It
Probably.
makes up for Zach and Mai's backstories.
Well,
pockets.
to be fair to everyone, my character has a lot of depth to her story and how she developed to get to where she is.
She's got a lot of life.
She's lived. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, Zach's a robot, so with no free will. So like there's not as much room. It's fair. It's all right. All right. Well, this is the story you've been waiting for, right?
If not, it's the story you're gonna get.
It's the one you're getting anyway.
Oh boy.
All right. Ready? It's strange. You'd think the end would hit you all at once, like an explosion, fast, loud, over. But it doesn't. It lingers. It claws. Every breath is another second you didn't die. And you start to wonder if that's mercy or punishment.
Dr. Hargrove, psychology, correct? You're young for a doctorate, and we don't often take chances. We don't need therapists. We need soldiers. Soldiers for the mind. People who can push the boundaries of what's possible. Plenty of bright minds want a seat at our table. Dr. Hargrove? Most crack under pressure. Convince me. What makes you different?
She doesn't look like a crackpot idealist. That's a start.
Dr. Reynolds, this is Dr. Charlie Hargrove, psychology.
Psychology, huh? Never thought I'd see someone like you working with the company. But we could use someone who knows how to get inside people's heads. Before we break them open, of course.
Some people think it's easy, you know, people like you, bright-eyed, with your degrees and theories. You think you're ready to help develop our future generations? You think you can handle the complexities of our work. Because once you're in, there's no going back.
I'm not here for anything half-hearted. I'm here because I believe in what we're doing. I can handle it.
Good! You should. This is where minds like yours are needed. But remember, Dr. Hargrove, this isn't about healing. This is about development, about shaping the future. What kind of future we'll build? It will need people like you. People who aren't afraid to break a few minds to save the world.
I understand.
Good. Dr. Reynolds, show her the rest. She's got potential. I'll leave it to you.
First official day, first entry, first step into something bigger than myself. I keep looking at my badge. Dr. Charlie Hargrove, Behavioral Psychology Division. It doesn't feel real yet. I walk through the Enclave's main facility today, past the labs, the sealed doors, the rooms I haven't earned the clearance for. I could smell the sterility, the order of it all. It felt right, purposeful, like a place where real change happens. I sat in on my first briefing. The others, doctors, officers, strategists, they spoke with this conviction, this absolute certainty that what we're doing matters. They talked about the future, about preserving America's greatness, about survival. That's why we're here, not just to endure, but to make sure that the world after the war is better than the one before it. And I get to help shape it. I get to be part of something that lasts. The first few months were intense. She threw herself into her work, not because it was necessary, but because it just felt right. Dr. Reynolds often worked late alongside her, and their conversations ranged from research and theory to more personal topics. He was brilliant, sharp and as confident as he was pragmatic, yet there was something about him that unsettled her. They would get caught up in discussion about the psychological impact of their experiments. Reynolds often played devil's advocate, pushing her to see the flaws in her logic, in her theories. His approach was always clinical, always unbothered by the ethical weight of it all. At first, Dr. Hargrove could ignore it. They were changing the world, after all.
Hey, Doc. So, this is it, huh? I gotta say, feels kind of cool being part of something this big.
It's more than big. What you're doing here today, it could change the future of humanity.
Yeah, my mom always said I'd do something important one day. Didn't think it involved, well, needles.
You're brave. Most recruits wouldn't sign up for this.
Well, I mean, they're gonna fix everything, right? My dad fought in the Anchorage reclamation. He believed in this country, even when it didn't believe in him. I figured maybe I could finish what he started, be something more.
Something more, indeed. Enhanced reflexes, cognitive acceleration, bone density fortified against trauma. You'll be stronger, faster, but that comes at a cost.
Yeah? Damn. Sounds like I'm gonna come out like a superhero.
Superhero, soldier, whatever sounds better to the public. Just remember, this isn't a game. This is about our future, about rebuilding what was lost. We need you, but you'll need to be prepared for what's to come.
There might be some side effects. Headaches, nausea, mood shifts. But we're here to monitor you, make adjustments. You won't be alone in this.
Side effects? Doc, I get headaches from Nuka-Cola. If this helps win the war, I can handle a little pain.
It's not just pain. You might feel a little different, less like yourself, and maybe a little more than human.
If it means my little brother doesn't have to grow up in a world where raiders run the streets, I'm okay with that. Besides, you're a doctor. That means it has to be good. Hippocratic Oath and all that, right?
Yeah, something like that.
He won't come out the same. You know that?
Neither will we.
Today, I watched my research go into effect for the first time. We've been testing long-term psychological conditioning. Subtle shifts in behavior, the right words at the right time. It's not about brute force. It's about influence, about guiding people toward the right conclusions before they even realize they're being guided. And it worked. The subject, a volunteer of course, responded exactly as predicted. Their opinions, their loyalties, their entire sense of self became malleable with the right stimuli. This isn't just theory anymore, it's real. And it can mean everything for what's to come next. Some of the others, particularly the military men, think we should be more direct. Fear, pain, breaking people down. But that's crude, inefficient. My work proves you don't need to shatter someone to control them. You just have to understand them.
The first subject they tested for long-term conditioning showed perfect results. It was triumph for the research, and Dr. Hargrove felt a surge of accomplishment. But as the days went by, a nagging thought began to plague her. Was their work really about progress, or was it about control? Reynolds noticed her hesitation. Initially, he'd joke about it, but after some time, she began to notice a flicker of concern in his eyes, something unexpected from him. They rarely discussed it directly. Instead, their interactions became defined by shared glances across lab tables, silent acknowledgments of their mutual doubts. Sometimes, for a brief moment, it felt as if he understood. And sometimes, Dr. Hargrove found herself hoping that he would understand more than she was willing to admit.
I should be thrilled. Vault-Tec wants us consulting directly on behavioral experiments for their vaults. This is exactly the kind of practical application I always wanted. Real-world testing of long-term psychological shifts. Entire contained populations to observe. Generations of data. But something about the proposal unsettles me. The way they framed it. Necessary measures for long-term societal stability. That phrase keeps rolling around in my head. Necessary. Meaning what? Meaning at any cost? I asked Dr. Reynolds about it after the meeting. He just shrugged. He said it's the same thing we've always been doing, just on a larger scale. He's not wrong, but still. I think about the people who will go into those vaults, people who don't know what they signed up for, people who will trust us to protect them. And I wonder if someday they'll hate us for it.
The Vault-Tec proposal came unexpectedly, catching Dr. Hargrove off guard. Dr. Reynolds seemed oddly unbothered, dismissing her concerns with a casual shrug. When she pressed him about it over coffee, he gave her his usual response. It's the same as everything else we've been doing, just bigger. But it wasn't the same. Not really. The idea of controlling entire populations in sealed environments unsettled her. She couldn't help but imagine the people inside those vaults, isolated, unaware of the conditioning they were about to undergo. The more she thought about it, the more disturbed she became. Would they ever forgive them for this? What if they were nothing more than experiments? But Reynolds, ever the pragmatist, didn't seem to care about the ethics. His interest appeared purely scientific. More data, more results, more understanding. The idea of studying entire generations in a controlled environment was like a dream come true for him. His eyes would light up with excitement as he spoke about the data and potential outcomes. Dr. Hargrove couldn't shake the nagging feeling that something insidious lurked behind it all. Reynolds never seemed to see it that way. Maybe that was what kept her close to him, the calm certainty he exuded. He was the anchor she needed to convince herself that this was all for the greater good, or at least that's what she kept telling herself.
I told myself that this experiment, like all the others, was for the greater good. The Human Resilience Study was meant to prepare for the future, an America that could withstand any hardship. After all, if the world was to be rebuilt from the ashes, we need people who can endure, who can survive, who can carry us forward. I watched the subjects. Weeks alone, weeks without even a whisper of contact from the outside. The conditions were harsh. Extreme isolation, minimal resources, constant environmental stress, and yet some of them adapted. They thrived. Not all, of course. Many fell apart. Delirium, paranoia, breakdowns. But the few that withstood it, they became something else. They learned to adapt to the loneliness, the isolation. They didn't just survive, they grew. But then I ask myself, as I sit here with my notes scribbled in haste and almost shame, at what cost? Is it worth it? Is it truly for the greater good to break people down to the point of madness just to see how they can handle it? Are we really testing resilience, or are we just creating machines who are no longer fully human? What happens to their souls when we break them like this? I still believe that the survival of the fittest is important for the future, but I can feel something twisting inside me. I don't think these people are meant to be just test subjects, and that's what we're doing, turning them into experiments, into a means to an end. I can't help it. I can't help but wonder, if they had the chance to connect, to share their pain, would they have handled it differently? Would I?
The human resilience experiment was supposed to be just another project, another piece of data in their growing body of work. But something about it unsettled Dr. Hargrove more than anything else they had done before. The subjects, isolated for weeks with little contact from the outside world, were pushed beyond their breaking points. Some cracked, delirium, paranoia, violent outbursts, but the few who survived, who adapted, were beginning to change. Dr. Reynolds, the ever-steady presence, continued to guide her, though she often felt he was too willing to accept the status quo. He tried to temper her rebellious streak, to remind her of the bigger purpose. But there were always sparks in her, something that was more than just following orders. She didn't want to just be part of the system. She wanted to understand it, to reshape it from within. Yet, in moments like this, when things became too much, she would seek out Reynolds for his wisdom. He was a safe haven in the chaos, a steady voice when doubt crept in. It was around this time that Dr. Hatch was transferred into their unit. He wasn't a part of the core team for this human resilience project, but he'd been observing, offering his thoughts on the psychological dynamics of the subjects. At first, he kept his distance, offering advice that felt more like a casual suggestion than any serious input. But slowly, his presence became more frequent, sometimes sitting in on sessions, sometimes discussing the project over coffee. At first, it was just professional, academic even, but there was something more about it. Never allowed herself to think too much about it. This is business. There is no room for relationships here. But the way he looked at her, the way he challenged her ideas, made her feel something unfamiliar, something she hadn't expected. Dr. Hatch, with his sharp intellect and dry wit, was a fresh take in the sterility of the facility. There was something in Hatch's tone when he spoke to her that felt more real, more personal. "I don't think you're wrong to question it," Dr. Hatch said one evening after a particularly long day of observing subjects. "But you've got to know, Charlie, we can't stop now. If we stop now, what was the point of everything we've done?"
It's getting harder to tell myself I'm on the right side. I can rationalize it. I always have. The conditioning, the experiments, the vaults. It's all for a purpose. The world we build after the war has to be better than the one before it, and the only way to ensure that is to control the pieces before they fall apart. But today, I sat in a meeting where a man I barely know suggested letting certain vault populations starve, just to see how long desperation takes to turn to cannibalism. And no one argued. No one even flinched. Not even me. I just sat there silent, letting it happen. What does that make me? There's a whisper in the back of my mind, a doubt, a voice that keeps asking, at what point do I stop being one of the good ones?
After a particularly tense debriefing, Hatch pulled her aside. "You're not the only one who feels the weight of all this," he said, his voice softer than usual. "We're not here to be human, Charlie. We're here to change the world." His words echoed in her mind long after she returned to her quarters. Was he right? Was all this for something greater, or were they simply justifying their actions, justifying the price of work they were doing? That evening, as Dr. Hargrove sat at her desk staring at her notes, Dr. Hatch joined her. He always had a way of showing up at the right or wrong moments, and this night was no different. There was a tension in his voice as he talked about the latest developments in the project. "Do you ever wonder," he asked, "if we're just delaying the inevitable? The world's broken and all we're doing is patching up the cracks with glue and hope. We should be moving forward, taking the world by the reins." Hargrove met his gaze, but her expression was far more guarded than usual. "It's more complicated than that. The people we're experimenting on, they're not just numbers in a file, they're real. And if we don't start seeing that way, we're no better than the system we're trying to replace." Hatch stepped closer, his tone softening slightly. "I'm not saying I don't care. But we're too far in now. You can't just stop halfway." And for a brief moment, Dr. Hargrove saw something in his eyes that mirrored the uncertainty she'd been battling within herself. But it quickly passed, replaced by the hardened resolve she had come to expect from him. As they walked out in silence, Hargrove couldn't shake the feeling that someone was going to break before all this was over.